This episode is brought to you by Criminal Guard. Criminal Guard isn't just a jiu-jitsu apparel company. They support gyms, schools, and organizations. They sponsor local athletes, helping them to chase their dreams. Who doesn't want to wear Al Capone while you're smothering and tapping out your friends? Support small business and support your local community. Go to criminalguardclothing.com and escape like a criminal. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like a Jersey thing too, right?
Yeah, we're a little aggressive.
Y'all don't fuck around, man.
We're a little aggressive.
We're talking already?
Yeah, we're talking, but you know, I like to have
That's
like a
it.
little banter. At the
This
beginning.
is the interview right
This
here,
is the interview.
man.
It's actually just about us.
Swinging on each other?
You're actually here to interview me and my sister. No, I'll start. I'm here with Sergio and Paul Ardila. Thanks for joining me on Jits and Giggles podcast.
Long time coming, right here.
Yes, long time coming. Shout out to Daishi. If I don't mention his name at least 5 times, I get beat up. So
For the record, Paul has asked about you a
Yeah.
bunch of times.
me and Daishi's fiance tease him that Paul's his boyfriend. We're like, that's your boyfriend because he loves him some Paul.
No comment on that one.
Yeah, okay. Well, we heard in an interview that you commented that he's as tall as he is wide.
That motherfucker's big.
He loses sleep over that comment. I just want you to know, like, that meant the world to him. So thank you.
He's just big as fuck, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Quite the chode. I'll give him that.
A chode of a man, if you will.
Nah, that's just my boy, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait to train with him again.
He wants to come down and train. It just was bad timing. I think he's scared. I'm just kidding.
Come on, man.
Let's start with the beginning. So you guys are brothers, if you guys didn't put it together. Who's older?
I'm
Shoulder,
older.
By a year or two?
2 years.
A little bit less than 2 years second.
Okay. So you started training first or same time? How did it come
I
about?
started training 3 months earlier than he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's why you're better. It was the 3 months.
That's exactly why, yeah.
Yeah. So how did it happen? How did you get
Yo,
into
just real
jiu-jitsu?
quick, did Sergio's voice get like 3 octaves lower the second the microphone came on? The fuck?
That is literally how I speak. Every single word that comes out of my mouth.
It was like 3 months earlier.
Ask Stephanie. It's just
Sergio's really nonchalant right now.
Yo,
I'm-
leave Sergio
I'm just
alone.
a chill guy, all right?
It's just whatever, though. What's good? Hey. My
I'm gonna
Instagram
go in and
handle
edit it
is
so your voice is like
@BlackBall
even
Attorney.
lower. It's gonna be like a super bass.
I appreciate
I'm gonna do
that,
it for you, and I'm gonna make Paul's real high.
I don't know if it can be any lower, honestly. It might already be at the bottom edge, but yeah, just try just to see if you can drop it
I'm
down
gonna
a little
edit
bit more.
it. You got it. So how did you get into jiu-jitsu?
How did I get into jiu-jitsu? I got into wrestling really late.
Okay.
So it started with that. I
Okay.
wrestled my senior year in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wanted to keep doing something like it. And my college didn't have a wrestling team.
Mm-hmm.
So I just see these kids like on one of these like martial arts mats. And they were doing what looked like to be wrestling with no shoes.
Oh, right.
So I just walked in there, I
And the
was like,
rest
seems
is
like you're all
history?
fucking each other up. So I would also like to fuck fuck some people up. That's it. Then I joined ATT like a month after that.
And that's interesting because a lot of wrestlers and jiu-jitsu people, like wrestlers don't give jiu-jitsu a lot of credit. Jiu-jitsu doesn't give wrestling a lot of credit. But you went from wrestling and you had like instant respect for jiu-jitsu.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the first time that I heard about wrestling jiu-jitsu was while I was wrestling, and I didn't respect. I thought it was weird.
Right.
Because we had a kid on our team that also did jiu-jitsu before I really knew what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you're familiar with like wrestling positions, but he was on top.
Mm-hmm.
And he would always throw weird shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that it wasn't like pure. He was throwing like arm bars. This is back in like 2008. Like I didn't know
Okay.
what the fuck was happening. And it's just like, yo man, stop with the weird shit.
I thought you were gonna tell me he was like spladling people.
No. This is like high school wrestling. I don't even know if you knew that move.
You talking about Roman?
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
But
Just threw it
that was
in
like the
the
first time that I like saw it and I didn't like it.
Right.
But then it was like when I was done with wrestling that I just wanted to do some type of grappling, and that's when I was like, all right, fuck
And
it,
you
I'll
got
give it a
into
try.
it. And then Paul, you followed right after.
I mean, not immediately, like not right after he started, but because I was still in high school when he started doing jiu-jitsu and I was wrestling. But in the summer, I didn't have anything to do, so I kind of like tried it out for a little bit. And then I went to college, and then I started wrestling or whatever. And then I got into a car accident. And then after the car accident, then I kind of got into jiu-jitsu more full-time
Yeah.
and stopped wrestling, yeah.
When did you guys start competing?
Right away, I remember
Yeah.
my first competition was like a month in. So like a month of taking classes, I competed right away.
Wow.
Yeah, white belt tournament.
to me, like one of the things that wrestlers get right, as opposed to like people who start doing jiu-jitsu from the very beginning, is wrestlers understand that if you want to improve very quickly, you have to compete a lot. Because the wrestling season is like 3 or 4 months, and you have like competitions every single weekend.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, so when you transition from wrestling into jiu-jitsu, you just carry on a lot of like the good things from wrestling,
Right.
such as like competing as much as like possible.
Yeah.
So pretty much as soon as we started, both of us were competing like
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
I do also find that wrestlers that go to jiu-jitsu seem to, I don't know, have like an upper hand rather than jiu-jitsu people going to wrestlers. Like jiu-jitsu people suck at wrestling. So I feel like you guys having that background was like a nice thing to have.
That's facts. Like the first maybe 20 matches,
Yeah.
I was probably just wrestling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just kind of winning based on that. Like all the Nagas and stuff where there are a lot of points.
Right.
Every match we're starting like 2-0.
You're relying on your wrestling
Yeah.
until you get to a level where it doesn't matter. I feel like that's similar to like Jonathan Webb, who owns Webb MMA, was telling me that like he had a wrestling jiu-jitsu background. So when he started MMA, he was just going in and doing jiu-jitsu on people. So he was dodging punches and taking them down and winning all of his minor fights. And then when he got into the big leagues, he didn't know how to punch or like block a punch. So it's like similar.
That's like the old school Gracie shit too, right? It's
Right.
like they're technically just doing jiu-jitsu on people that don't know shit about jiu-jitsu.
Right.
So they like might eat a punch or two on the way and do like that goofy like long kick.
Right.
And then just close the distance and then take them
Exactly.
where they don't know, nobody else knows what they're doing except them.
Yep, that's like we were saying about Annie, like my sister. She didn't know, no offense, but she didn't know a ton about jiu-jitsu, but she went in there against white belts, and you can get away with being a crazy, aggressive
She's running there
South
throwing
Jerseyan.
kicks and shit, man.
She's like, she's like, fuck you. I have to show you the video. No, she was,
Put that jersey.
we were on
She
the,
put that jersey on him.
all right, let's cut to Annie's white belt match.
Yo, man.
No, it was like, no, but honestly, it is a testament that like until the skill starts catching up, you can get away with just having a very aggressive personality.
Why does
Yeah,
she
it
scream?
definitely helps.
Why does she scream Jersey right
Yeah,
before she started?
why?
She was like Jersey.
Why? Yeah. Why was she wearing a cut off muscle shirt on? We'll never know. She had her hair in like a snooky poof. Okay, so you guys got very into jiu-jitsu. Obviously, you're both very successful attorneys, if you don't already know that. At some point, you had to decide how to balance everything. So how the hell do you guys manage being full-time attorneys and now full-time competitors as well?
You want me to go first?
I can go first. I mean, for me, and I think even that you can probably also touch on this, but like wrestling in high school and I guess like trying to like balance academics and everything like that, especially because wrestling is like it's a very demanding sport. You know what I mean? It isn't just like, for example, you go to practice and then that's it, you go home and you get to do your homework or whatever. But like, for example, at least for most people who were cutting weight, you would go home, you would try to do homework, you would go weigh yourself. You're like, oh shit, all right, I gotta go run. You would go run a couple miles, come back, not eat or whatever. But like, it just teaches you a lot of like discipline and organizational skills.
Yeah, time management.
And then, yeah, I mean, it just kind of transferred over, of course, like to more extreme degrees from high school and then college and then law school and then now. But now, like, because everyone asks me this and I get DMs like crazy. People are like, oh man, how do you fucking do this?
Yeah.
But I wish you could tell them like, because I know they want like some heroic type of answer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's just kind of like, man, I've been doing it for so long. You know, it's almost 20 years now of my life doing it. That yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like it just is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
You
wake
make it
up,
work.
for like 10-ish hours, and then that's it. Now come train and then go home, and then that's it.
I think the reason people find it so interesting is because most people competing at your level, at ADCC level, at all these levels, they are full-time athletes. So it's like a phenomenon to understand, like, you're not like you are a full-time athlete, but you're also have a full-time career. Like that's not the norm. Most people are just doing jiu-jitsu and barely making it to that level. Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
Not to hype you up too much. I don't want to.
I mean, no. First of all, go ahead with the hyping up.
Impossible.
Man.
You
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
you're
Hey,
incredible.
for
Wow, you're
real,
incredible.
man.
Cannot hype him up anymore.
Yeah, I'm
Trust
trying
me.
to level them out. We have to
Go
get
ahead.
out the door.
You know
okay?
what?
Your
For the
head's
next
gotta
5
stay a
minutes,
certain size.
Everybody in the room is gonna say something nice about me, man. Go ahead. Just kidding. But I mean, if I'm being honest, I think it's not. It is difficult, but it's not. It's not super difficult.
Yeah.
There was like a little period of time where I just want to like, I did like a little experiment on Instagram. I was like, hey, send me your schedule and I'm gonna fix your schedule so you can accomplish.
I think I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I submitted mine.
Did you?
No, I'm just
Still
kidding.
waiting for a response.
Yeah.
Yo, your schedule is
Still
fucked.
waiting.
Nah, cause hell no, I got around 12 of them, 99% of them. Okay. If you send me your schedule and then
Yeah.
ask me for a picture of my feet, I did not respond. All right.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Why now.
That was you.
That's a
That
different
was
link.
you?
That's a
Yeah.
It
different
was
link.
one time.
Whoever it is that keeps asking for a picture of my feet, I'm not fucking sending you a picture of my feet, man. So stop
I don't know
it.
what you're talking about.
Anyway,
Go
this
on.
podcast is going off the rails, man.
It's all right. It's gonna be good.
I'll add something to that.
About
It
feet.
really is about the feet. Yeah, just check out under my links.
So it's like,
the
it was
one
me.
link with the foot emoji, you already know what it is. And then I got you on there. But
Feetfinder.com.
/Sergio. Yeah. But
Hell no, slash at Blackbow Attorney, man. Come on, man. You got to
all
plug.
There you
proceeds go
go,
to new
plug.
shoots. But yeah, like if whatever you want to make time for, you'll be able to make time for it.
That's
So,
true. Yeah.
Because at this point we've been training for so long, so like our other obligations have changed from undergrad to law school to practicing law and then
Right.
working in different firms or having our own firm. But if throughout the entire time, if you want to make time for training, it's really you can only really train, let's just say 4 hours 5 hours a day tops, like
Yeah.
physically, because otherwise you're kind of getting diminishing returns. You can always
Right.
find like 3 to 5 hours a day every day if you
That's
really
very
want
true.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like an hour a day to take pictures of my feet.
I was gonna
And so
say
then
that's
it's like,
what,
yeah.
If I cut that out, I'll have a lot more time in my day. But like specific to being attorneys, like it's not really a 9 to 5 job. Like you're not clocking out because shit comes up, I imagine,
Yeah.
with your clients. So
All
if
the
you're
time, yeah.
traveling for PGF and they're like, hey, we found out some new information, like what are you doing? Or like how do you make that decision?
Like if I'm traveling for fun.
No, like if you're
PGF,
traveling for
PGF.
Oh,
jujitsu
PGF.
and something comes up work related.
Yeah, I mean, I take my laptop with me pretty much
Yeah.
wherever I go. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of, for example, it's an obsession of mine now. If I have my phone and I open it, I check my emails. Check my
Right.
emails, respond to them.
Working on the fly.
Yeah, get to it. And I mean, luckily, I also have two like extremely great staff that work with me.
Yeah.
That if something pops up, generally most things I do, I can delegate. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
hey, can you do this, do this, do this, do this, do this?
Right.
And then like if something I need to do like specifically, let's say for example in Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
I would go compete and then come back, work for a little bit, pass the fuck out, wake up the
Right.
next day, and then just kind of do it again, right? I mean, you can again like kind of like what I was getting ready to allude to and with the whole schedule thing, right? That I was doing. I did that, and most people I was like, hey, check back with me, let me know how it goes.
Yeah.
No one did it. Like no one followed the schedule because
Really?
because the schedule was tough as fuck. Because like
Yeah.
I mean, even for me, like sometimes I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I'm
Do you
not-
get burnt out?
yeah, but then we go on vacations and
Yeah.
but even on vacations, like I'm still working. You know what I mean? I'm still
Yeah.
checking my email, responding, doing all these things. But I mean, it's just more chill, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can find the time to do most of the things that you want to do. It's not gonna be easy, but you can have it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
same shit at PGF, man. It's just that I guess time zone changes. You know what I mean?
Right. So the moral of the story is if you wanted to, you would.
I mean, pretty much,
Is
man.
that pretty much it?
Yeah, and Sergio's feet.
Like, fellas, if she's not texting you back, it's not because she
Come
can't.
on.
Exactly.
If she wanted to,
If I don't get a text back, I'm
she
sending
wanted
you
to, she
schedule.
would. That's right. Yeah.
Exactly.
And the other thing I was gonna say too is, I just feel like a lot of people procrastinate on like for no reason. Like when I was getting maybe like 120 emails today, I would have resolved so much shit on the spot. Like let's just say like, well, we were waiting for you guys in the car. That was like 5 minutes, right? I probably could have responded to like 3-4 emails or more in that. And then if you have a good delegation system, I'm bouncing back a lot of emails just by forwarding it to an assistant and be like, hey, please do this, please do that.
Yeah.
A lot of people just see shit come in, and I don't understand why they don't just address it right away.
Right.
Like I was kind of joking with my friend earlier. Actually, I think it might have been Paul, because I was like, Paul, you keep leaving people on red on Instagram, and it's like,
Yeah, Paul.
I never leave anybody on
It was
red.
me.
Like at worst, I'll just double tap. Like if I don't have anything to say, I'll just double tap just to
Yeah.
make sure. Like, hey, I saw your message. I don't have shit to say, but here just a little double
yeah,
tap.
you were big on that
Little-
through our communications.
So, yeah,
I was like, well, at least I know he got it.
little double tap, and also like if I see like for example, when you were messaging me,
Yeah.
if I saw it right away, I would just get on it. I'm not just
Yeah,
like
you were, yeah.
I don't have like 10 unread messages on my damn Instagram general shit.
Yeah.
Like I'll look at it right away. That way I'm done with it. I don't have to deal with it anymore. Like I look at it, I address it, move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I had to get Willow to reach out to Paul. I'm like, can you tell him to please answer my message? Remember
So any
Willow at
potential
PGF?
clients,
That was nice of her,
hit
though.
me up. I will get to you right away if I can help you. And if
Yeah.
not, I'll put you in touch with the right person.
Real quick, I don't know what she did to end up in like hidden request type shit on the, because with Willow, we went through my messages because she was like, oh, she messaged. I was like, man, I've never got a message from this person in my life, man. I don't know what she did. I don't know what celebrities she's DM'd saying who knows what about feet
She's on the list.
to end up on hidden request
Instagram has me
messages,
shadow
man.
banned.
That's crazy as fuck, man.
I will say the first like 4 messages that I got were just deleted messages that I never saw. I don't know what they were, but they were just
Hell
Wait,
Nice.
so Paul didn't respond so much that I started messaging him in Spanish. I was like, maybe he doesn't know what I'm saying. I was like, hola.
damn. That's funny. Maybe you mean
Por favor.
maybe he doesn't speak.
Responde.
Maybe he doesn't speak English.
They're like, all right, we're leaving. And then Will is like, I'm literally right next to Paul. Do you want me to say something? I was like, I mean, if it's not too much trouble. And then you did respond like right away.
Yeah, I mean, well, we went through the messages and
Yeah.
your message was just simply not there.
I will say
You know what I
that
mean?
does happen from time to time because I feel bad too. Like
Yeah.
I have somebody reply to like 10 stories and I never see it for some reason. Then suddenly I see one and then I click on it and it's like, oh shit, this person has been replying to stories for like a year. So that does happen from
I
time to
know.
time.
Well, I was telling Daishi to reach out, but I was like, I gave up. I was like, I'll just handle it myself. And then Will happened to be with you guys out there. So I have a question. So have you guys ever competed in IBJJF or no?
Oh yeah,
You have, right?
oh yeah, both of
Did
them.
you?
Yeah.
Both won worlds.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. But it was no gi only. Or what?
No gi and
All
gi.
won gi worlds.
It was gi?
Both.
And what was yours?
And no gi. Yeah.
No gi. Okay,
Yeah.
but that was
Don't gloss over me saying both, man.
I'm like, anyway, back to
let's address
Sergio.
me saying both. All right,
Anyway.
the both of them. All
Listen,
right.
I have a lot of notes, so I'm just gonna ask you on the
I
spot.
think I got one gi competition in the books for IBJJF. I like
Okay.
purple belt. And that's when I was like, man,
Okay.
fuck gi.
This was way before
Forever.
I even like started jujitsu, so I'm more familiar with like your ADCC journey, obviously PGF, all that. So, what rule set do you prefer?
ADCC.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
How come?
I mean, I think it allows for you to like hunt the sub really, really hard at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the part that I fucking hate about submission only tournaments. It's like if two people, let's say for example, they try to go for a sub in the first like couple minutes, right? And you're like, fuck positions, you kind of, put it to the wayside. Once both people cannot sub each other,
Yeah.
then we got to sit through another like 6 or 7 minutes of nothing fucking happening. You know what I
Right.
mean? At least if there's some sort of, like, if you're incentivized to like, okay, hey, I couldn't sub my opponent, but let me at least dominate him in a different fashion in which I can get points and show that I was a better grappler.
Right.
It just makes sense. And ADCC has both. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hunt for the submission at the very beginning, hard or as hard as you can. And then if you can't do it, right, then you can try to win in different forms. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? IBJJF, they're doing it too much, man, with the advantages and all this shit. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, too much.
IBJJF confuses me. Like watching it this weekend, like half the time I was watching my own friends, I couldn't even figure out why somebody was getting advantage points. It's like it just seems so random half the time that they're giving points away.
It just depends on your style. Like when I first started, I probably would have liked IBJJF more because I was like, I don't know, 20 years old, explosive as shit,
Right.
and I didn't know that much jiu-jitsu. So I wanted
Yeah.
to like explode into the first like 2 points, for example,
Right.
and then maybe I could stall the rest of the match.
Right.
But now that I'm 15 years later, I do kind of like a little bit of the sub only because it comes down to like who's better at jiu-jitsu, not just who can like explode into one position and then run
Right.
away the rest of the time.
Right.
So actually, PGF is kind of nice actually because they're so intense with the stalling calls.
Yeah. No,
So
it
like if you're trying to run away, like you're gonna get penalized, you're gonna
Right.
get put in bad positions, and it's not just like let me get 2 points and then try to win on that.
right.
Actually, I agree. Yeah. So I just did PGF recently, and
Did you? No, I'm just kidding. I saw it. You did amazing.
this shit is over. All right.
No, we're gonna get into it. It's on my list. Go on.
But yeah, no, that rule set was like submission only. But if you dominated someone positionally, they will stop eventually. Like the other guy had to, like, let's say for example, you pass guard
Yeah.
into side mount, right? The other guy, like, he had the burden of getting the fuck out of there,
Right.
or eventually like they will reset the position with you on his back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like it also like incentivized like, hey man, I understand this is submission only, but you're getting your fucking ass whooped. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to move and do
Yeah,
something.
absolutely.
So I like that one a lot too. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think ADCC kind of would benefit the two of you with your wrestling background. Don't you feel like they incentivize more for wrestlers?
Oh, yeah, AC definitely. I mean, the overtime, you both start on your feet.
Yeah.
So if you're, let's say you're like a little bit worse in jiu-jitsu than the other guy, so you're like just barely getting by.
Yeah.
But then you get to overtime, and now it's like a takedown can dictate the entirety of the match. So
Exactly.
definitely helps.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say too on the PGF?
Well, I was gonna bring up
Forgot
CJI. Do you have an opinion on CJI rule set?
It's awesome. I mean, the cage.
I feel like you
the
guys would
cage
do
is
well
really cool.
with the alley, don't you think? Like that, I feel like incentivizes a stand-up game as well. Like you can't really run from the person.
You said with the alley?
The alley
the
is
wall.
like the
Oh,
wall.
gotcha.
Yeah, the wall is awesome. I mean, the slant of the wall, I think, is the coolest thing because in MMA, a lot of people got really good at defensive wrestling on the wall, and that can kind of stall out matches
Right.
in MMA. But the wall being at a slant, meaning that you're falling back, or maybe you have to throw like a flying submission last minute. It doesn't incentivize action. I thought that was
Right.
cool. We're thinking about getting a wall.
Yeah.
At one of our other gyms. In the
I think
next month or
everybody
two.
should do it. I mean, I
Yeah.
know there's a cost, but
It's just like
if
a cool angle, like a cool
yeah.
other, not like discipline, but just like brand new moves, brand new defenses. It just really opens up the game for
Yeah.
a bunch of other cool shit.
That's what Karate Combat's having this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, that's where
They're-
Craig got
yeah.
it from, right?
Yeah. I'm excited to watch it. It's going to be cool. I wanted to bring up PGF actually. Did you guys like the rule set for that? And did you like competing with like a team? What was that like?
Yeah, well, I mean, only I competed.
Yeah.
I know you're saying you guys. You know what I mean?
Jesus.
Yes,
Not me
yes, I
trying to
am
be
not
nice.
205 pounds.
Just want to make sure
surprisingly.
this is about me. All right. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I really liked it. And actually, I can't say whether someone else is gonna compete or not, right?
Okay.
But yeah, everyone who went, I think, really liked the rule set. I mean, pretty much like if you were not exploding into shit, right, doing a bunch of movements, you were gonna get penalized and you were gonna get put in like that position when they started on your back. A lot of the things were new to me, like for example that referee's position if you got called for stalling and
Yeah.
shit. But yeah, I mean, I loved it. The only thing I still don't like is when it's submission only. I mean, people can still like stall you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for example, I can sweep and do a bunch of shit, but like they're like, so what, man? They'll just go straight past them or something like that. I don't like that. Also, I'm not a big fan of EBI
I
overtime.
was just going to ask you. So you really don't. Okay.
Yeah, one, we don't fucking practice that shit ever.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's kind of like, this is the only rule set in which someone can, like, for example, you can beat somebody's ass the entire time, right? And if you don't sub him, he can now start on your back
Yeah,
and
and
choke the
win.
shit out of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't fucking like it.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid as hell, especially because I did not win. Had I won, I would be like, yo, EBI is the fucking shit. All right, I love EBI
The truth comes
overtime.
out.
No, but I mean, I'm just not a big fan of someone starting like a specific position. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It should always be neutral, and then overtime should be like, it should still be like somewhat of a neutral position. It doesn't have to be on your feet, right?
Right.
It can be still jiu-jitsu related, but it still has to be like somewhat of a neutral. Maybe both guys some butterfly type
I think
shit.
they should start each guy's butt scooting from opposite ends, and they should just scoot towards each other.
But it's gotta be
Make it a race. Who can butt
it's
scoot
gotta
the
be
fastest
so
from one
far
side to
away
the
that it's
other.
like really awkward. You know what I mean?
But you can't stand up. You have to stay on your ass until you make contact.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
But
think
like
that'd
at
be
least like 30 seconds of butt scooting.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
And just quiet.
Yep.
No one should say
Yeah.
a word.
Dead silence, just like
Hell no.
like a basketball court.
Fuck no. I don't know why. I would be squeaking though, man.
Oh,
Step one, you get off the mats, you go to a basketball court, and then
just
just
the
who can
audience is
butt
dead
scoot the
silent.
fastest.
so that's what we're gonna do. That's what you guys are gonna get into.
That's right. That's right. I'm actually doing my own tournament February 8th. Butt scooting rules allowed. You feel me?
Squeaking not included.
But hey, what did you think of the PGF rule set?
The thing is, any rule set can be used for or against somebody. And in PGF, I know that it's not this particular guy's tournament, but the creator of the EBI rules was there cheering on one of these fucking guys. And halfway through the match, when the match is now, the regulation is over, the guy who has been coaching one of the guys on the mat stands up and he's suddenly the EBI referee for the overtime.
Interesting.
So it's like, not only can you use it for or against somebody, but if you have a guy that's clearly biased as one of the refs. I mean, nobody liked that. I mean,
Right.
we all
No,
thought
that
that
makes
was
sense.
weird. It's like,
Yeah.
you're just going to step off from now. First, you're a corner. Now you're the ref.
Right. Yeah. How can you do both?
And you're supposed to dictate, like, any type of style that any rule set can be. You can kind of work out how to win in any rule set without necessarily being better. So, for
Right.
example, for EBI, there are a bunch of like nuances on where you actually want to be when you start, both defensively and offensively.
Right.
There are ways that you can, like, let's just say you're not going to start in a neutral position when somebody has your back. And you can practice not budging, even though the ref is like, hey, man, you got to get in position. And there are people that practice like, I'm not getting in position. I'm just, all right, I'm ready.
Like a little loophole. Yeah.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So you're going to have that issue with any rule set. But EBI is one that has already been around for like, I want to say like 8 years now. So a lot of people that maybe are not great at jiu-jitsu are really good at kind of cheating that system.
That's interesting.
I thought CJI
Yeah.
was cool on that because it's like, all right, y'all fucking just go. And then
Yeah.
we're going to figure out, like, 3 presumably unbiased refs are going to figure out who won this match. Not necessarily in any type of, like, rules that we're going to give you in advance so you can try to figure out how to cheat it, but just,
Right.
like, go crazy, and then we're going to
Yeah.
figure out who won this match.
Yeah. What did you guys think about that? Like, did you think, I assume you think CJI was good for moving
Hell yeah, it
jiu-jitsu
was
forward?
Absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
not just the money, but the fact that Craig, like, self-audited all the numbers and then put them out there, because that way a bunch of athletes got to see, like, okay, how many people actually tuned in to watch me?
Right.
And then nobody knew if that number was going to be great or not, but it's
Right.
just a real number. So then let's say, I think it was 16-man brackets, right? So then now you have 32 guys who can, for their future tournaments or sponsorships, can just say, hey, my participation at CJI brought in 4 million viewers.
Right.
So I would like to get paid X amount of dollars for this clothing sponsorship. Whereas
Right.
before, Flow Grappling does not post their numbers. And then you just got to take whatever the fuck they give you. And for some people, maybe they're being overpaid. But
Yeah.
I'm sure a bunch of other people are being underpaid.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really cool that now these numbers are out there.
Right. That's a good point. And Paul, you've been to Worlds many, many times. How did you feel about the pay?
About the ADCC pay or the CJI pay?
No, about ADCC pay versus CJI. Like, did you feel over the years that you were being underpaid?
Well compensated when before it was $0. I mean, look,
The increase by percentage was amazing from the last time to
I mean,
now.
you were making double than the females, so there's that. But
you said double
yeah, than what the girls were being paid. Yeah.
this year.
No, in the past.
You
In the
guys,
past.
well, I mean, we weren't getting paid before. I don't know if you knew
I
that.
thought you were getting paid.
What? Wait, hold on a second. This is news to me. The girls got paid half.
They were originally getting paid half until they brought it up, and then they increased it to match the men.
Oh shit, that's crazy as fuck.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Oh my god, I knew something Paul Ardila
Yeah,
didn't know,
I just learned about it.
Yeah, the girls were getting paid half, and when money started getting talked about because of CJI, the girls were like, "Hold up, y'all are getting paid $5,000, we're getting paid $2,500.
Hold up, we're getting paid for this?
Hold up, we're getting paid." So, you know, Mo was basically like, "All you had to do was ask, and I'll pay you the same as the guys," and then he did.
That's crazy. That's all they had to do, huh? Ask.
Yeah.
Like, nobody had ever asked
Yeah.
in the, 20 years that ADCC has been
Yep.
around.
Well, I mean, shit, man. Yeah, I mean, until this last go around, no one was getting paid at all. That people knew about,
Yeah.
right? Supposedly, the word
Yeah.
around town is that the big names, no matter what, have always been getting paid.
I heard that there was like things being done behind closed doors. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like as long as CJI is on some real, like, fuck it, man, we're paying everybody $10,001 just
Yeah.
to show. I mean,
Yeah.
I like it more just from that stance. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because there's no, like, funny shit going on.
Yeah.
And, like, you kind of hear about it, but then as soon as another tournament comes up that could have any sort of, like, competitive edge with ADCC, right? In, like, a day, everyone got paid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that shit was a little weird. I'm not going to lie. Like, especially for me. And luckily, I'm in a position where, like, I'm not depending on any sort of pay from jiu-jitsu for, like, my livelihood.
Yeah.
But, like, a lot of these guys are, man, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, so if you qualified for ADCC, you get
Yeah.
put into this group chat. And
Yes. Yeah.
in it, they're kind of, like, letting us know, like, hey, man, so these are what the numbers look like. I know
Right.
Sergio, maybe you didn't know this, but, like, they're like, hey, this is what the numbers look like for like sponsorships and all the shit. So you can go out and be like, hey, this is where you're gonna right. But like, I mean, that's cool and all. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like the fact that the organization itself could have been paying us something,
like show money.
Yeah, man. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
And this is something that we were talking about before. Like, I understand that maybe there was this idea of like, hey, you know, if we all work together, we can help grow the sport type shit. You know what I mean? Like when you first open up a business, you're thinking like, hey, maybe the first couple of years I'm not gonna have any sort of profit, and that's okay, because in the later 20, 25, and and forever, money will come in, right? But the only thing is like the organization isn't the athletes themselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there what's going to help you grow your organization to eventually make money down the road. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you can't like you can't speak for them when it comes to not getting paid at the beginning.
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially if you showed in a 1 day like time that you could have been paying everybody the entire fucking time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially because 2000 and when the ADCC just happened? 2022?
Just now, yeah.
Or 24, right?
This was just 2024.
Yeah, this year. I'm tripping. Yeah. 2022, I think, did almost just as well as 2024. So that means like even in 2022, people could have gotten paid,
of course,
and they were just like, no, fuck it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? More drums.
Yeah.
More lights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bigger stadium.
You know, whatever, man. More fucking wristbands and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What
They
the
were
fuck,
kind of cool.
man?
They lit up.
I think an easy way to summarize it is that ADCC wanted to put the athletes into a forced partnership where everybody sacrificed, but the promoters are the ones who got the benefit long term.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that long term, the organization is the only one that's going to last.
Yes.
Because in 20 years, the same athletes that are fighting now are not going to be fighting then.
Yeah.
And if the athletes of today are the ones that are sacrificing so that the promotion and then the athletes of tomorrow are getting the benefit, then there's only one party that's getting screwed over. Yes. And it's the athletes of today.
Right.
Also, an easy way to resolve that, it seems like they just didn't understand like a profit and loss statement or simple calculation, which is you don't have to pay more than what you make, but you can just dedicate a percentage of the profits to the athletes. So let's just say, hey, we pay, because that's what all these other big organizations do, like the NFL, the NBA, and then even the UFC, like they can compare the percentage of the revenue that they're paying out to the athletes. So the ADC could have just said, look, we're just starting out. We have to put more money into infrastructure because we just don't have it right now.
Correct.
We don't own stadiums. We don't own, let's say, for example, like UFC PIs. We don't own a shit ton of inventory of T-shirts. We have to buy all that today.
Correct.
So because of that, we're not going to pay you 50% like the NFL does, or even I think 11% like the UFC does, but we're going to pay you 5%. But at least that's a hard number that grows as the revenue grows. Right. Hey, we paid you 5%. We're still going to pay you 5%. But last year we made this much. Now we made twice as much. So you're going to get paid twice as much.
Right.
But it's like, no, we're not going to pay you shit. We're not going to tell you what percentage of money we might have paid you. Also, all you had to do is ask.
Yeah, right.
You guys want to get paid? That's crazy. I didn't know you wanted to get paid. All you had to do is ask. I would have never guessed that you wanted to get paid.
Well, it's like a company's bonus, right? Like that's how they do it. It's like the company does
That's
better,
right, yeah.
You do better, right?
But there's a clear structure in most companies. Like, hey, if we hit these benchmarks, then we're going to pay you this much.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think CJI also helped. And one of the best things that I feel like it did was now there's more transparency when it comes to like the sort of revenue the ADCC is bringing in, and then how athletes are supposed to benefit from that revenue. Because again, as soon as this whole CGI shit started coming up in the group chat, Mo, I think, felt obligated to be more transparent with the money that was coming in and what he could do now, you know what I mean? To kind of keep everyone still with ADCC.
Correct. So. And I think I misspoke earlier because as you're talking, I'm remembering. I think the pay discrepancy was not show money, it was winning money. So it was, if the men won, it was X amount, and the female brackets that won were half the price. That's what it was. But regardless, that's crazy. Like, how do you not pay the exact same amount to first place, men or women?
Especially like, it's the same sport, and people are so like, they're putting their bodies in danger in the same way. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
yeah, I feel
yeah. Do you have an opinion, while we're talking about this, like whether it's CGI, ADCC, doesn't matter. Do you have an opinion on how athletes should be paid individually? Like, do you believe certain athletes that bring hypothetically more people to the stadium should get paid more than the other athletes showing up?
Yeah. I mean, I do like that. You know what I mean? And well understanding that I'm not necessarily one of those athletes because only more recently that I started getting more engaged with social media and shit like that. But yeah, I mean, I do like anything else in life. You know what I mean? Like if you merit getting paid more, then you should get paid more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think what Sergio was saying is like you can allocate a certain percentage, and off that, I'm not sure exactly how it would work, but if you can show, for example, like, look, man, out of the 12,000 seats, right, 6,000 people are here to watch me.
Yes.
Like, come on, man, that guy or girl, right, should not be getting paid the same as every other fucking scrub. No offense. You know what I mean?
No, right. No, I talked about this with somebody, and I was saying I think a way to do it is when people buy their tickets, they literally just have a drop down of what athlete you're going for, and then it just trickles down.
Yeah, I mean that's a good system, but I guess the issue is there is no system now.
Right. Yeah.
So that should be like the big criticism, because it's not like we're sitting here hypothetically trying to figure out, hey, if we want to run a sport, how will we get the athletes paid? But it's like, hey, this thing has been going on for, I don't know, 30 years, 20 years, and there has been some money that has been made, but the issue is that the athletes to this day are still having an issue getting paid, and there is no system.
Right.
So if there was, like, for example, that system's an easy way to track who the majority of people are coming to see. But we don't have any system.
We have no
at
system at all. But there were some people that were saying, like, when the women were complaining, when they found out they were being paid less, they were like, and you should be, because this is a male-dominated sport, and you're not bringing in as many people, so why would we pay you as much? So that was an argument. I was just curious.
And I think it's a fair argument. And the issue, again, is that we just don't know. Because there are girls that have a ton of viewership and fans, but there's just no system. There's no way for us to really track that. So just like Paul said, not everybody should be getting paid the same, because there are people that actually move the needle in terms of revenue, but nobody knows who that is at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really. I mean, I'm pretty much just like mimicking what Sergio said, but I am gonna maybe add a little bit more into it. Like, we don't know exactly who's bringing in who, right? But again, now that and this is no secret, I feel like a blue belt girl can have like 30 times the amount of followers that most of these dudes can have. You know what I mean? So I can't really speak for like the talent itself. But what I can say is like viewership. I mean, yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
You kind of know.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I mean, yeah.
You have an idea.
You like, for example, like I feel like if I were to put out there like, guys, buy an ADCC ticket for my 10,000 followers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or whatever. It might be a little different than the girl who says, buy a ticket from me with her 300,000 followers,
right,
and her like fan base that will do whatever it is
right,
that she wants to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm getting DMs about, me showing my feet. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, "And fuck no, I'm not buying a ticket from you."
No, but I'll challenge that, in that just because you have a shit ton of followers for one thing doesn't mean that they're gonna go over and buy a ticket for another thing.
That's very true.
Like, that's actually been one of the main issues that a lot of crossover influencers have, is that, let's say they blow up on TikTok or on YouTube or whatever, and then they try to go into like the boxing thing. That's like an easy area to see, because a lot of this like celebrity boxing, they've done terrible numbers.
Yeah.
And it's because even though people might tune in to watch you do some goofy ass dance on YouTube, that doesn't mean they're going to buy an $80 pay-per-view.
That is true.
So I do think that there should be a system, rather than just speculating like, oh, this person has an OnlyFans and they have 300,000 followers. Doesn't mean that it's going to turn into pay-per-views.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying it's going to turn into pay-per-views, but what I am saying is, and again, since we're kind of talking like trying to find more objective metrics, and Sergio brought up OnlyFans, right? I think
This is where the plug comes in.
I think OnlyFans at paulsfeet.com, all right? No, but I think OnlyFans does show, like, if I think what is like even the highest grossing man on OnlyFans is like the lowest of females on OnlyFans, right? I think if anyone has the ability to move to spend money, is men will spend money on women, generally speaking. You know what I mean? Whatever. Maybe this is a topic we can.
Is this the beginning of like a
where you
thong
getting these stats
ADCC
from, Paul?
league? This is Paul's personal expenditure on OnlyFans. He's like, yo, I can attest. At least some guys
like,
spend
I
like
have a
$100,000 a
feeling. I have a
year.
weird
90% of my income goes to OnlyFans.
He's like, I just have like a hunch that like guys would pay
You know
for
what I mean?
OnlyFans.
So I've heard, all right? Thousands of dollars, all right?
But I think the bottom line is, regardless of individual pay of like athlete versus athlete, I think we can all agree that like in general, the athlete should be getting paid more instead of spending it on stupid shit.
There should definitely be a minimum. That's, I think
minimum.
earlier you asked also like how much should these people make, and it's like,
Yeah.
and Paul was like they should make different amounts. That's fair,
Yeah.
but there should be a minimum. The NFL has a minimum, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly, of like yearly
Right.
income, even for the practice squad.
Yeah.
So there should be a minimum, and that's kind of what CJI did. I thought was cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think when you bring competition in at all, that's when the needle starts moving, right? Like ADCC was a monopoly in a sense, other than I guess IBJJF, but they're not paying. So it's like they were a monopoly pay wise. So nobody was forcing them to move the needle. And now it's like, if you don't pay us, well, we're gonna fucking leave.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely one of the things that I touched on. I can't remember with what podcast was asking me, but I pretty much said the same thing. It's like, in no realm is competition ever a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, competition leads to progress and hopefully like a much faster time frame than without it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will say, man, at least compared to, I guess now, like how it used to be, at least ADCC has always taken care of the athletes. And I do want to say that because, like, for example, they were the only federation that would give win money, maybe not show money, but would give win money.
Yep.
And sponsors would like pay attention more to ADCC. They'd always pay your flight, your hotel, your food, your pretty much everything during the time that you were there, you were being taken care of. So,
right.
I mean, they did start the ball rolling. You know what I mean? And now hopefully I mean, especially now that you have people like Mark Zuckerberg and different people who are kind of like pushing jiu-jitsu into like mainstream.
Yeah, Joe Rogan.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see where it goes.
I don't know. I got like a slightly different opinion because I was in EBI back in 2017. And I think by then that's actually when I went to ADCC Worlds. And granted, I didn't win the trials. I just placed in 2 trials, so they invited me. So they didn't pay for any of my shit to go out there. And I happened to already be there because Paul was there.
Right.
But EBI, I would say even before, they were also taking care of the athletes because when I went to EBI, they flew me out. I didn't have to do any trials or anything. I was just invited, flew me out, paid for my hotel. And then they have their own little pay structure.
Right.
Which, again, they're not auditing themselves on the numbers because I know, for example, now UFC Pipe Pass gives them a certain amount of money for them to put on shows, and they're not sharing that with us.
Right.
But from the beginning, when it was just Eddie Bravo and his friends' money, they were always having some type of structure where they can pay the athletes if they were exciting. Right. And, of course, their structure is like if you get a sub, they paid you $5K, you can get up to 4 subs because it was a 16-man bracket, so you can get up to $20K. And everybody knew it, and it was clear. All you had to do is get a sub, and you get, $20K, which especially back in 2017 when I did it was a shit ton of money for jiu-jitsu.
Right, yeah. Which I think, like, that kind of reminds me, like, PGF's kind of nice because you could potentially win.
40K. Yeah,
40K.
PGF is really nice.
Yeah.
PGF also, apart from, like, paying hotel and all this shit, also paid shows money.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm not sure if we're supposed to share it, but whatever, man. They pay show money as well. And,
I won't tell.
Like, pretty much, because there's only 4 teams,
Yeah.
you have a 1 in 4 chance of winning 20K, right? And I can't remember who I was talking to this morning, but we're pretty much saying like, hey, regardless, your opportunity cost of not going is like, I think it's like 5-6K from the rip, because 1 in 4 chance of winning 20K is 5K, right? Plus your 1K to show, right? So it's a 6K probability or opportunity cost of just by going.
Yeah,
like by going 6K. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's a really good tournament.
Yeah. So you would do it again?
Oh yeah. I mean, I will say I think it's the only tournament that runs 5 consecutive days.
Yeah.
So that was brutal. It was really tough, but I mean, at the same time, like, I feel like, and this is something that I've touched on a lot of interviews and shit, but it's kind of like, I have a lot of empathy towards my opponents because they're the only people who I feel like truly understand me because they want literally the same thing that I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, like you can't help but like fraternize with the people, even if they're your opponents, you fraternize with them a lot because you share the same mindset and stuff. So it was awesome. I loved it. I had a lot of fun. Yeah.
Something that I thought was cool about PGF is that the organizers, at least this last time, did a really good job of matching businesses that want to promote their brand with the athletes. So like they created this avenue for them to, because they're not just giving the money away. Like they each have a business they promote. They also have like sponsorships with the athletes, especially if they win. and it's an easy way for them to get connected with the athletes, and then for them to put their message out there. One of the big things from PGF this last time is that they told everybody, like, hey, we're going to create this amount of content in the following week, and we usually get like this many impressions, this many viewers, and that's a good way to also get the interest of future sponsors.
Definitely.
So it's like a good vehicle to connect, athletes who need money with companies who need to put their name out there.
Absolutely. And then as far as CJI, would you both be interested, I assume?
Of course. That's like the golden ticket for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
It's like when you get the CJI call, it's like,
were you in Craig's DMs or what?
So was I?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man.
I just want to hear you say it. No.
Oh yeah, man. Of course.
He was sending all sorts of feet pics.
Yeah. He's like,
I was like, Craig, man, I know it's you asking for my fucking feet pic. All right, I'll send it to you. All right, just put me in there, man. No, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people were also like pushing for me to be in there.
Yeah.
Just because of my style.
Awesome.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I guess it didn't work out this time.
Yeah. There's always next year. I think they're gonna do it for sure. What do you guys think? You think?
Yeah, I think they already announced it. Yeah.
Oh, did they? I thought it was still.
Look at that. I know something you don't know. Look at that. Yeah.
I thought it was on the cusp, but
no. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah.
So then maybe
it's kind of like a must know only right now. We're probably already in trouble just for mentioning it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you sure only you
cut.
guys know? All right, we're gonna do a quick little most likely to. So I'm gonna ask you questions, and you tell me which one of you is most likely to do X, Y, and Z. Cool.
All right.
All right. Most likely to show up late to train.
Paul.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed that. You give me like timely vibes.
I pulled up earlier today.
Did you? Did you answer email?
Most likely to show up late to train.
You tell me.
Paul's like, that's not true.
Yeah, I mean, nah, I feel like Sergio, man.
Really? You think he's
Actually, no,
tardy?
I'll say this. I feel like I'm more likely to maybe be a couple minutes late, but Sergio's more likely to just not show up at all.
Oh, well then I'm honored. That
You know what I'm saying?
showed up.
So
Thank
this-
you for being here.
I refute that. Just for the record, I disagree with that.
Okay. All right.
Sergio's
we
a
have
liar,
split-
all right? Man, let me just
so
put
we
that. Yo,
have-
Sergio lies, all right?
Okay, next question. Most likely to lie. No, I'm just kidding. Most likely to forget the technique the coach just showed. We all do that. I blank out.
I mean, that was kind of tough because I feel like we both pick up techniques pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But I'm extremely likely to forget the name. I'm gonna be
Okay.
honest with you.
That's
And when
fair.
people shoot me like, "What do you think about Ashigarami with the re-" I'm just like, man, you're speaking a whole different language right now.
Literally,
I don't. Even if you said it in English, I still wouldn't fucking know. And you're
Right.
speaking to me in Japanese, like you think I'm gonna know it now? Like, bro, I'm not responding to your. You know. Sergio said that I leave messages on scene.
Yeah.
If you speak to me in Japanese, bro, I'm not responding to your DM. All right. If you're talking about Ashigarami, come on, man, just stop it, man.
Everybody listening to this that send you that is like unsending their message right now.
Yeah, for real, like, hey, do you know when you grab, his right leg with your left arm? I'm like, oh shit, yeah, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, hey, when you enter double saddle with the thing with the,
Double trouble. You're like,
yeah,
"The
whatever.
fuck?"
I was like, you know what, man?
Paul didn't know the position. I mean, to be fair, Paul's like in the middle of like a long ass match, and this goofy ass ref is like, supine, get supine. And Paul's like, what? Like, yo, get supine. It's like, motherfucker, just lay on your back, all right? But what's funny too, it's like supine. It's a medical term.
Yes.
So it's like, man, quit with the like stuffiness, man. We're rolling around on the floor, sweaty as shit. Because that's one thing. Even to this day, after having been doing this for so long, I'll see like let's say athletes that I look up to a lot, and then I'll go watch like their match. And I'm like, at the end of the day, motherfucker, you are on the floor rolling around, sweaty as shit, breathing. It's like, enough with the supine shit, all right?
And you're in the middle of a match. You're already like, your mind's all over the place. I can't imagine
And
someone
this-
screaming some crazy
No,
terminology.
it was the
You're
ref.
like,
He was trying to tell Paul, like, hey, all right, man, get supine. And Paul's
you're
like,
like,
huh?
just say what you want.
Supine. It's like, yo, we all know what the hell. Just tell him to get on his
Yes,
back.
Right. I would also be confused in that moment because you're
Right.
like out of breath and you're like, just be very specific.
And also, like, at least here at our gym,
Yeah.
we're like normal fucking people. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
so
didn't
like,
really
so for
think
example, like if I'm rolling with Sergio and Sergio's like, hey man, let me drill this move. Get on your back. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, Sergio's not like, hey, Paul, supine.
Yeah, like supine at 32 degrees exactly. You know what I mean?
And a
Grab
cute
your-
angle for me.
You're so
I'll get
obtuse.
obtuse real quick.
You're so obtuse right now, right? No, but on some real shit, man, I am gonna also like touch on Sergio's point, man.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I've noticed, and maybe it was John Danaher or who knows what, but jiu-jitsu went from like, hey, we're just normal people like trying to have fun, and do the sport. So like everybody as quickly as possible sound smart. All right, don't be smart.
Oh my
just
God.
just sound smart. Use big words. All right, supine this, Japanese that. Like, come on, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, especially if you actually listen to like the subject matter of what a lot of people are talking about. Like, my boy, you didn't graduate high school, man. Just relax, man. Just be
This is
normal.
wild. Yeah, no,
You know what I'm
you're
saying?
hitting home because this is a lot of the jujitsu community. I'm probably gonna get hate for this, but it's so true. They say a lot of nothing, and they just throw in big words.
Yeah,
And if you're really listening, you're like, that don't make that
they're
doesn't make
suddenly
sense.
pseudo intellectuals.
Yes.
It's just like, I
Yes.
just saw you shooting up behind the damn heavy bag.
Literally, or you just like when somebody's intelligent. And you kind of know if they're not. And when somebody's just verbatim repeating words, it's almost like they heard somebody say it and they're just using the word, but they don't actually know what they're saying that goes along with the word.
Yeah, you just described like 98% of the people.
It's true. No, and
the
I
higher
feel
belts
it
in jiu-jitsu.
all the time. And I'm a polite person, but half the time you're like, that doesn't make sense. But you let it go, right?
I mean, I guess you have. What's the alternative? You know what I mean?
Sort of, call them out.
I guess at
Like
least
talking shit on a podcast.
At least
Yeah.
they're trying.
That is the
man.
alternative. Yeah.
Shit. I don't know. I guess I don't know. They're trying, man. It's better than nothing, I guess. But Jesus Christ.
Some people, I do think, take the sport a little too seriously. Like, at the end of the day, we are quite literally rolling around on the ground. And, like, it's important in the moment. I'm not saying it's not. Like, when you have a match, it is important. But I just think people take it a little too serious sometimes.
I think one of the biggest reasons why that happens is because before all the Danaher shit, there didn't seem to be like a definitive right or wrong way to do things. It was just styles. And there are still styles, but Danaher kind of came in and polished a lot of jiu-jitsu, which is a really good thing.
Yeah.
But people now suddenly think that the only correct way to do something is by following 100% of what they do.
Yes.
And it's like, no, they can have amazing technique and have shitty culture.
Yes.
Or they can have amazing technique and have the stupidest names.
Yes.
Because the names are just fucking made up.
Yeah.
And then also, technique also changes with time. Like, you look at wrestling, for example, that's been around for like 2,000 years. And then you can see trends from like the 70s, the 80s, things that were working a lot back then that don't work for 20 years. And then they start working again in the 90s because there are trends. Everybody starts defending one move. So then people got to get really good at the counter or the next move. And I mean, jiu-jitsu is still so new in that. So it kind of makes sense that we're kind of seeing all this stuff happen. But we were in that stage for so long where it's like, oh, if I want to be good at jiu-jitsu, I got to talk like a fucking goofball.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what I'm going to do now. I only yell supine and I only yell like full names like Paul Ardila, 20 minutes remaining or whatever. It's like, oh my, come on, man.
You gotta say all of my names. Paul, Sebastian, Mauricio, Ardila, Ibarra. If you don't say all of them, I'm not listening to shit, man.
He's not
Who?
Who?
Oh, I didn't know you were talking to me because you didn't give me my whole name.
That's so funny.
Also, just real quick, and if you were talking about getting shit, do not preach about technique if 99% of your students are on every steroid humanly imaginable.
Facts.
I'm just gonna put that shit out there, man. Fuck that. Like, if you want to preach about steroids and doing this and doing that, tell your students not to use steroids. And then we can really see if your technique is as good as you believe it to be. Because from what I've seen, your students, and I'm not just talking about one person, I'm just talking about in general. The students who don't use steroids, your techniques don't work any longer. Anyway, just
Mic drop.
I mean, that's the truth, man. This shit is getting ridiculous, man. Straight up, like, when you compete against a guy 10 minutes in and he feels just as strong as in the first minute.
Something's
like,
wrong.
no shit. You're, Ashigurami to this and that and this and that is working.
Yeah.
If your opponent is gassed out like a normal human being and you're still going all cylinders, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or if you grab someone's foot and you just literally just yank it in and the guy's like, pulling away his heart. Like, come on, man. Like, anything works. Most techniques work if you're like 3 times as strong as your opponent.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you want to see me hit all sorts of like impossible technique. Let me roll with like a 120-pound child, and then I'll show you all sorts of shit you've never seen before, and it's all gonna work. Right. That's like an exaggerated analogy of what happens when you have like a guy that has never taken any type of steroid with a guy that's like has like 5 more years to live because he's taken so much shit.
Yeah. So are you guys for testing?
Well, how about just not doing steroids?
Of course.
So we don't have to spend the money on testing.
That's like telling people to not, do crack.
Steroids. Still not do steroids.
Sorry, I took an extreme. It's like they're still gonna do it. So
They're
what can we
gonna do
next?
steroids.
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen. So then, to make it fair, just test for it. No.
Test for it, but let's just say you really got to get down to like the economics of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking about there isn't that much pay and testing is expensive from what I
That's
understand.
true, yeah.
So I think while we get up to that place where we have a shit ton of money to actually like test everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and this is kind of extreme, but what I think should happen if we really want to cut down on the steroid usage is just increase the penalty of doing steroids.
There you go.
For example, in IBJJF, I don't know if they're still doing it, but for a while they were randomly picking some of the black belt world champs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the guys that tested positive for everything, they might get like a 2-year suspension. And then what they do is, well, they already won worlds, regardless of whether they get stripped or not. We all fucking know they won, right?
Right.
And then they just don't compete in IBJJF for 2 years. They go all these other competitions that actually pay them, and they
Right.
come back.
Absolutely.
But if you get some shit like, I don't know, the minimum is a 10-year ban.
Yeah, then they'll take it more seriously.
Even if it's random, right? So you don't have to pay for the testing of every single athlete. Let's say you only pay for, I don't know, 3, randomly selected, or like whoever looks the sauciest, we're gonna test you, right? But if you test positive, like 10 years, fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then that gets people scared, and then that makes less people want to use steroids.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a terrible idea. I think it would cause a riot, but I think it might work though.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Sergio. Like, there is, the answer can't be just testing because there's already testing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And people just don't give a fuck.
it's true.
You know what I mean? And like most of the guys right now who are like heralded as some of the best, like maybe some people forgot, but I haven't fucking forgotten. A couple years back, IBJJF popped you for like 8 different like steroids and all sorts of stuff. I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
even the guy who won my weight class, or my old weight class, I'm no longer doing that weight class, but
yes.
yeah, like, yo, man, my man, he went bald at like 20 years old. And look, I'm not necessarily like, I'm not trying to talk shit about him, because I believe that it's, again, the culture and the gyms that he's training at are like pushing this shit on him from like a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, we know of people who are also very famous, also very young, who like, the people who he was looking up to and like 13, 14 years old are telling him like, go use the steroid. You know what I mean? So I'm not necessarily like putting on them specifically. You know what I'm saying? But like the consequences of this shit is fucking terrible, man. You know what I mean? Like you should not be losing your hair at 20.
Yeah, no, there's somebody very well known that was on my timeline the other day preaching basically the steroids are okay. And you have these young kids coming up the ranks that are looking at their idol, and now they look at it as no big deal. They don't really see how detrimental it's going to be down the line.
I mean, the thing is, just like Paul said earlier, like I do feel for some of these guys that are kind of putting 100% of their eggs on making it in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because if this is all you got and you need to win a bunch of shit in order to get sponsorships and eventually get money, win all these tournaments that have cash prizes, and if your coach can convince you that everybody else is doing it, you might just do it to be competitive.
Right.
But ultimately, if we want the sport to grow like in a healthy way, because eventually somebody's going to die from this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, there was this guy, and I don't want to say his name because I have a couple of friends that used to be really close friends with him, but he was this like ultra heavyweight guy that everybody knew was using a lot of steroids, who died from like an undisclosed heart condition.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not normal for like a somewhat athletic guy.
Yeah, that's horrible.
So we should put an end to it, and I think penalties are the only way that we're like really gonna scare people into not wanting to do it.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And also like, I mean, this one's gonna be really tough because again, you have organizations that just generally do not give a fuck, right? But like, for example, IBJJF, at least I don't know if it's in order to be like at a moral high ground that they started testing or what, because it's not like they're paying their athletes until actually same thing. So like ADCC started paying CGI, and they're like, yo, you know what? Now we're gonna do a tournament that pays too. You know what I mean? But they actually did start testing. You know what I mean? But the thing is like,
weed.
Well, I mean,
That's what I heard anyway.
so IBJJF, at least they test, but like the only issue is all the other federations that are equally as important are not testing.
Yeah.
So like when you don't test, I feel like you're low key encouraging that shit. You know what I mean? Because you're like, hey, this is the safe haven for all steroid abusers.
Yeah.
Not just that, but not only are they encouraging, but if you're a young athlete and your goal is to fight for an organization that doesn't test, and I don't think low key, but like it's encouraging you to do it. Like ADCC has flat out said in a bunch of different times, we don't test for this. The way I look at that is like they're telling you they don't give a fuck about you. Like
Right.
they don't give a fuck if you put all sorts of substances that you don't understand in your body, as long as you look good and you give them one show in one match that you might still lose.
Yeah.
Like this is like a clear slap in the face that they don't give a fuck about you as an athlete.
Yeah.
They don't give a fuck about your longevity. All they care is, you know, their stupid ass lights and their dragons and shit, and being able to show off and say, hey, you know, I put on this event. It's like, man, this show's not about you, man. Like you're the
Yeah.
promoter. Nobody gives a fuck about you as the best or worst promoter. Like people come to see the fucking athletes.
We're getting very specific.
I mean, but it is what it is. It's like,
Yeah.
no man, know your fucking role.
Yeah.
Like
No, I
like
get
for
what
example,
you're
like
saying.
Dana White in the UFC, he was very linked with the growth of the UFC, but that kind of happened organically because
Yeah.
the UFC was not doing well when he got it,
Right.
and then he actually had investors and real money from the beginning, so he spent his entire life trying to make it what it is, and it was a great success.
Right.
But then a lot of people think that they have to again follow the same model and be like very brash on the mic and curse some of their fans out and the people and going on their lives and going these like
Right.
crazy ass talks. And again, they forget like people don't buy the pay-per-view to know that you're to pat you on the back and say, hey, you put on a great show. They go to see the fucking fights.
Exactly. No, that's correct. Anything, Paul?
Mic drop. That's all I gotta say.
I did want to ask you because you mentioned it. I'm just curious. What made you switch weight classes?
This is still unconfirmed, by the way. Like, I would want Paul to get on the scale right now.
Not hell no. We just came back from Mexico. I'm not stepping on any scale for the next couple weeks until after the first. But yeah, I mean, so this ADCC, like right before it, I doubled down on like lunches and dinners and everything, and I weighed in at 210, right? And my opponent was like, I don't know, 230. You know what I mean? And not just that, but most of my opponents, that way I don't have to call anyone out specifically, right, are also on steroids, right? And these are confirmed from like people who train with them and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like not only am I like fighting against people who are using like substances, right? So they're already gonna be stronger than me in that regard, but then they're also heavier, right? So that shit like was wearing on me. And like, for example, this ADCC, I feel like nothing really happened. In fact, most ADCCs that I go to, right, except for like 2 of them, right, my opponents don't really fucking try to do shit other than just kind of like they can physically outlast me. You know what I mean? And a lot of that has to do, I feel like, with just being heavier. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like in the same sense of, I guess maybe people think like, hey, I'm just gonna try to put myself in a position where I am kind of neutral with everyone else, right?
Right.
It's if everyone's cutting like 20 whatever pounds, I can cut the 10 pounds to get to 88 kilos.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious.
Hopefully
Alright.
I get an invite though, man, because I don't feel like doing trials again, man.
All right, moving along. Most likely to book a last minute flight.
Who's the flight for? Who is the flight for? And again, that's Paul.
Yeah. You're kind of like last minute. What?
There was a little inside joke there that Sergio made, but yeah, I feel like I'm more likely to book that last minute flight for sure.
Gotcha. Okay, well let's.
Sergio hates traveling.
You hate traveling?
I do not hate travel.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I've been to like way more countries than Paul has been to.
Oh, okay.
Way more.
On
But
the
I
record-
will say Paul has booked a lot more flights than me. But the question again is, who is the flight for?
Oh, he's booking it for other people.
Who's the flight
All
for?
right, we're gonna leave
This
that
man is a
alone.
whole like, was that a travel agent?
Oh wow, good for you, Paul.
Lies, unconfirmed filth.
Kind of brings us to the next question. Most likely to be the voice of reason.
Nah, probably. How about this? Historically, I'd say me.
You.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Historically, definitely Sergio.
Yeah.
Now, maybe 50-50.
Yeah.
You know what
Neither
I
of
mean?
you are hotheads. Both. What?
When we were younger, I was kind of like way younger. I was like a little bit of a hothead.
Kind of. Oh my god, yo, the amount of stories I have
But
on
this
this
is like
on this
way-
man just fucking people up for no reason.
This
I'm
is
not gonna put
way-
this on the podcast, man, because you know
This is way younger.
the statute of limitations may have not run on all of those cases. All right, so definitely not telling all these stories, but
This is a really long time ago. Like when we were like 18, 19.
Okay.
But then I feel like very shortly after that, like when I was like 20, early 20s, I was already like way more chill. And then
Yeah.
Paul was still a little bit of a hothead.
Oh, okay. Switched a little roles. I mean, he is a little younger.
that's right.
Yeah.
I will say though, every time that I've seen him do like crazy shit, he was always like defending somebody.
Oh, that's nice. We like that.
It
This
usually
is-
didn't end
this
up
is
well
true.
for the other person, but
Oh, that's nice.
but
We
yeah,
like-
he was always defending somebody.
that's nice. Do you feel like jujitsu chilled you guys out?
I mean, yeah, long term, yeah. but
Jiu-jitsu
when
helped for sure.
I-
Yeah.
But when I first started training, I did get in a bunch of fights like within the first month or two.
I feel like that's true. Because I'm only like 2.5 years in. I feel like when you get your white belt, you're like, I'm gonna fuck everybody up.
Well, especially because we
and then
started
you-
training MMA, so we were training like
Oh,
jujitsu and MMA at
yeah.
the very beginning. So like I went from like not knowing. I mean, I had been in some fights, but not that many. But like not really knowing what to do.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, I know how to throw punches. I know how to
Right.
move out of the
You have
way and shit. I know how to throw a
confidence.
kick.
Right. You're looking for a fight almost.
And I'm also,
Yeah.
I think we started training at like 18.
Yeah.
So that's like the age where you're kind of drinking a little bit and you're doing a little bit of partying. You put all that together. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it could be bad. But then I feel like the longer you train, I don't know, I feel like things roll off your shoulders more because like you're confident.
Now, yeah. I mean, at least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna. Again, if we're just being honest, you know what I mean. I don't think it's necessarily like, oh, I'm more confident now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like we've always been pretty confident. You know what I mean, people. But I think it's just like as you age, you just become more chill and you have more to lose.
Yeah,
you know what
that's
I mean.
true. Yeah.
And you
Sure.
just, and you also understand consequences
Mm-hmm.
more in depth. You know what I mean. But yeah, when we were younger, I feel like a lot of guys who young, like healthy, probably like have a lot of high testosterone and shit, and you don't like I was mentioning, you don't understand consequences. Yeah, we used to get into a lot of fights.
Yeah.
We'll say when I was 18 years old, whether it's true or not, I felt like I had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like making some decisions showing that I just didn't give a fuck about
A
anything.
little questionable there. Yeah. And now you know the law too, and you probably also have seen some crazy shit through working. I'm sure that probably
Yep.
instills a little fear. Most likely to make the class laugh.
It depends.
Who's funny?
Sergio's funny as fuck, man.
Is he?
Yeah.
I
think
feel like
you're both
it
pretty
kind of goes
funny.
both ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you both have a good like sense of humor. Okay. Most likely to make an expensive or impulsive purchase.
Is this a flight?
You don't want that.
And again, who's the flight for? And if so, it's Paul again.
Okay. What about in general?
Yo, Sergio bought like a $10,000 coffee machine. Let's just start with that, man.
That's
All right,
crazy.
we're gonna put fucking our personal business out
wasn't
there,
impulsive,
man.
though. Like I actually thought about that purchase for like
Okay.
3 months. It also was not 10K. It was
Okay.
like
5.
substantially less than 10K.
9K. All right.
9,500. Was it what kind of a coffee machine? Why was it so expensive?
He flew it out, all right? He flew the coffee machine out.
It was it was a foreign, all right? It was an
Okay.
import. Yeah, it's just like this Italian coffee
Yeah.
machine.
You're a big coffee guy.
I wasn't a big coffee guy, but during the pandemic, because I didn't drink coffee before the pandemic, I was not drinking coffee.
Yes.
But during the pandemic, we didn't have shit to do, so
Yeah.
we would just like go to Starbucks because the Starbucks was open in the drive-through and just started drinking coffee and just parking
Yeah.
in the
Just to
parking
get
lot
out.
and just drink the coffee and talk.
Yeah.
So that's when I got into coffee, and then 4 years later or 3 years later, whatever, I bought a machine. But yeah, it's just like a really nice espresso machine. It like keeps the pressure consistent. Yeah, it was a few grand. It wasn't anything
Alright.
crazy. It wasn't no
bet.
like Delta One last minute flight for another person type shit.
Oh,
It
okay.
wasn't that.
I'm starting to connect.
That
some dots
has
here, yeah.
never happened, all right? Main
Paul's
cabin
gonna text
only, you
me.
heard.
Paul's gonna magically find my Instagram now all of a sudden and message me and be like, "Can you take all of that out?"
I just want you to know, I don't want you to get any funny ideas, right? Main cabin only, economy plus. That's it. That's all you get.
DMs are open though.
No feet pics.
So what's coming up for you guys? Anything coming up for either of you, competition wise?
I have something, but
Can't talk about it.
I can't talk about it yet.
Okay, Paul.
No. I mean,
Nothing.
no. I haven't really planned anything for 2025.
Cool.
I'll probably sit down here in the next couple of days and think about
Start
what
looking.
tournaments I want to do. Yeah. I mean, I did talk with this guy who like helped set up matches for WNO.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, he told me to throw out a name, and I threw out a name, but
Didn't hear back yet, or?
yeah, I mean, just fucking, I got left unseen. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So I guess
Yeah.
maybe I gotta throw
Not
out.
even a
Maybe
double
it
tap.
went-
Not even a double tap.
Maybe it went to the same place my messages were going.
I don't know where I was.
Halfway through a conversation.
Yeah, I don't know where I was just blocked. All right, so no.
It said C. That's
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll reach out again and
yeah.
see if we can make something happen. There's definitely some people that would
Yeah.
be cool if I went against.
Yeah. So you're just kind of right now just relaxing and training here and there,
Yeah, I mean,
traveling.
yeah, I mean, we just came back from Brazil and then right back to Mexico and then now we're back again. And I mean, I do gotta work, believe it or not. You know what I mean?
believe
I gotta try to put in some hours into my business, make sure it's still around next year. So
Yeah. Do you guys coach? Or no?
yeah,
We coach Ernesto.
Yeah, but you don't like. Do you coach kids?
no, we coach each other. If anything,
Hell
and
no.
No, not
I
into
used to coach kids. I used to teach kids in undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to teach 2 kids classes, like the 8 and under,
Mm-hmm.
or sorry, 10 and under, and then 10 and over.
Yeah.
And the 10 and over was manageable, but the 10 and under is like the craziest thing that I've
Mhm.
ever done. I did that for like 3 days.
Yeah.
They would just slap each other, cry, not pay attention.
I coach 3 to 5 year old.
Yes, I could not do that. Because you got to be like very parental. And this was when I was like 19, 20, and I
yeah.
I didn't have that in me. But
I've gotten better. Like, I don't have kids. We don't have kids in the family. So my first few months, I was like, what the fuck is going on? But now
you got to be strict. And that's kind of like,
that's what I had to learn. Like, my coach would be like, you're not being like mean enough. And I'm like,
That's right.
They're 3. I'm not
Right.
yelling at a 3-year-old. But now I'm like, yo, because they will take advantage of you if you show.
oh yeah,
you show
if you show that
weakness.
you're if
you
you
show weakness.
that 3-year-old's gonna fuck you. But they will. They'll like, you can't be their friend too much because then they just have no respect for you.
I will say we do coach a yearly week-long camp in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Oh, that's awesome.
And we've been doing that for a couple of years now. BJJ Camp Rio, check it out.
Very cool.
And so that is the one thing like that we like continually coach.
That's cool.
But other than that, like here, like at home now, we're not really coaching.
Yeah. And what's that all about? It's just for fun, or?
No, so what we do is we take like anywhere between like 30 to 50 people from the United States or different parts of the world, and then we host a camp in Brazil in one of the local gyms there. We rent it out, and we just teach like kind of like cutting edge technique.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have 4 different coaches. So like Paul, for example, because he's the one that competes and like he's done the best out of all of us.
Yeah.
He will teach like some of like his patented moves
Mm-hmm.
that work on like that you see him hit in competition.
Mm-hmm.
And then me, Ernesto Rivera, and Jucal Carnero will kind of like teach some of the newer shit that a lot of people haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
And then some of the other stuff that we use in tournaments.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, we do this like week-long camp, train every day.
Yeah. Is
do-
this like for you guys to make a profit off of, or what?
I mean, it's not free,
that's what I'm asking.
but
basically, yeah.
we haven't really like, it's kind of like the revenue versus profit.
Yeah.
Revenues have been really good, but we also stay like a week after for vacation. We get like a
Yeah.
penthouse.
Yeah,
That's
so
really
it's fun.
expensive. We like, we get flights for ourselves. Surprisingly, Paul doesn't only fly other people out, but
yo man, Sergio's a liar. All right, I don't fly anyone out, man.
so yeah, it's it's kind of like those camps that you see people do in Thailand.
Yeah.
We're just kind of trying to share this really pretty city that we know about.
That's awesome. Yeah. What is your background with Brazil like? Because I know you're both from Colombia, right?
That's right.
But you just love it.
It's kind of like funny the way that it played out. Like me and Paul were in undergrad still, and we were just like, let's take a Portuguese class
Mm-hmm.
at UGA.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, all right. So we took the Portuguese class just like a semester, right?
Mm-hmm.
We learned a little bit or whatever.
Mhm.
And then I graduated. I went to law school, and Paul still had a couple years of undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
They just asked him like, hey, UGA just got this program where like we want to take some people to Brazil and have them live a year in Brazil,
Oh.
but you got to pass this test from the government in Brazil showing that you're fluent.
Oh.
So Paul was like, yeah, fuck it. All right. So he just did this whole huge program where he like learned, he became fluent in Portuguese, and then he lived a year in Brazil. So at this point, I'm already in law school and he's in Brazil. So I'm like, shit, man, I want to go to Brazil too.
Yeah.
So then I found this like summer internship in Brazil when I was in law school. So then Paul was already living there for a year, and then I went there for a summer.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then I learned Portuguese also.
Are you
And
both fluent in Portuguese?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I speak pretty well, but I wouldn't say like Paul's like he
You're
used to
very
speak
fluent.
it perfectly. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I just speak it like real like slang, and
You get by though. It sounds like you're conversational. At the
I have whole
at-
conversations in
That's awesome.
Portuguese. Yeah, but I'm not as good as
Also,
Paul.
the program is called the Flagship Scholarship. So I'm not sure if you've ever heard it, but
Mhm.
it's kind of popular
Yeah.
because yeah, I mean, so like the U.S. has a couple like different what do you call it, like relationships with different countries
Mhm.
of interest,
Yeah.
right? Maybe like surging economic powers and shit.
Mhm.
And they want you to have like they want to have a lot of connections with it, right? So for example, they have like a China
Mhm.
flagship program, and they
Yeah.
have Brazil flagship program. So yeah, it just happened to be that the year that I was going into my senior year of college, they opened it up.
Right.
So they were like, hey man, if you can pass this fluency test,
Mhm.
we'll send you. And I was like, oh shit, all right, well fuck it, man, let me
How long did you prepare?
like 3 months,
You became fluent in 3 months.
fluent enough to pass the test,
That's amazing.
which is very different than fluent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so,
still.
yeah. I mean, if you, like you can Google a lot of the questions that they're gonna ask you.
Mhm.
Like, of course, they can like stray off based on your answers,
Mhm.
right? But you can just also like for example, if you know they're gonna ask you, it's like, what do you do for fun, right?
Mhm.
And you're gonna say, well, I teach jujitsu. You know they're gonna ask you something jujitsu
You
related.
kind of prepare.
Yeah, so I had like a bunch of I had like a full script
In
ready
your
to go.
mind. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I became like fluent when I was in Brazil.
That's really cool.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, we were just talking to our Uber driver about a very similar situation. I study Spanish.
you mean your kidnapper?
Yeah, no, different Uber driver, a cooler one. This one did not talk to us at all. He was on the phone and was sketching us out, and he looked like a Who from Whoville. But I go to a college weekly to take Spanish class, and I've been doing it for like over 2 years, and it's really hard to become fluent. And we were saying how like if you submerge yourself, like if I were to go live in a Spanish speaking country, I'm sure I'd pick it up quicker because I would have no choice. But it's really hard because you go to class and then you leave and everybody speaks English.
Yeah, so that's just like
difficult.
Paul said. He like picked it up fully when he was there. Same thing for me.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Like I didn't really learn it. Like when I went to Brazil, Paul like picked me up in the city, and then we flew together to the city because we happen to live in different cities. Like our
Right.
programs were in different cities, and I thought that he was gonna be able to kind of stay with me for a little bit. And I can't remember why, but he was like, "Oh shit, I can only stay for like 2 days."
Oh.
So then I was just in Brazil. The class that I took was like a year before,
Right.
and then, but I did pick it up pretty quickly once I was
That's
there. Just
very
like you
cool.
said, when you're fully immersed,
Yeah.
you have no choice.
And you guys were fluent in Spanish.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that
Right.
was
And I
also-
mean, I because of jiu-jitsu, I hear Portuguese. It is very different, but there is some overlap too, right?
There's actually a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
So I feel like in order, like if you want to get like intermediate level
Mm-hmm.
and you're like a native Spanish speaker, you're gonna get to that level way faster
Yeah.
than like, let's say for example, someone who only speaks English.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to reach like full fluency, Spanish is actually gonna fuck you up.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I feel like only English speaker will become fluent much faster than like a Spanish speaker.
Really?
Yeah, because like I'm not sure exactly how it works. I googled it back then because I was having a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But it's like your brain actually like switches from like language to language. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like for example, when I started feeling more comfortable in Portuguese, my brain started having like this fight between what's it gonna be, Spanish dominating or Portuguese
That makes
dominating.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. When I was in my undergrad, I studied abroad in Italy, and so they make you like take an Italian class in order to do it. So I studied Italian, and then when I started picking up Spanish, when I would not be able to remember a word I was learning, I would insert an Italian word, and it was like by accident because I guess my brain was like searching for
That's right.
help.
It's almost
Or
like you're
both.
creating bad habits, and that's the
Yeah.
reason why it's hard to reach fluency if you already speak a similar language, because all your habits and your impulses are to revert back to the thing that you already know. Whereas if you don't
Yes.
speak a Latin language at all, like let's say you speak English,
Yes.
then you don't have those bad habits yet.
Right.
I'm actually going through that because I'm learning Italian right now,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
and I either revert back to Spanish or Portuguese, because to me
Right.
Portuguese sounds kind of similar to Italian. So then whenever I'm talking to like my teacher, I don't know if she's annoyed at this point because I keep doing it, and like she's teaching me how to do it, and it's hard for me to learn
Yeah.
when the shit just kind of sounds similar to me. So it's like, why learn this shit that I don't know about when I can just kind of, it kind of sounds like this, and half the time I get it right.
Right.
But when I get it wrong, she's like, no, I already told you, like,
Right.
these letters make this sound.
No, that makes sense though. I remember like for me it was I kept instead of saying like Nino or Nina, I kept saying Bambino. And then like people would laugh and I was like, what? And they're like, that's a whole nother language. But it was just like my brain was like, I remember that, but I don't remember the new word. So that is interesting. So now you're both going to be trilingual.
Well, I already speak Portuguese too, like Portuguese, Spanish,
Portuguese,
and English,
Spanish, and
but I
English,
have to
so-
learn Italian.
There you go. And then you speak 3 languages.
Only 3. And also just a quick tip, if anyone
Mhm.
wants to speak languages, I guess
Yes,
take
please
it
help me.
from someone who I guess learned a 3rd language already in my 20s. I guess fluent enough to pass a like government standardized test in fluency is your goal should be 50% of your speaking time. And I know this is gonna sound kind of funny, but it'll make sense once you're like really starting to like get into it. 50% of your speaking time should be in the target language.
Okay.
So like for example, and if you feel like, man, I can't really do it today, I promise you, just shut up. Like don't speak. Like for example, if you're gonna speak 2 minutes today, like only in the target language and don't talk for the rest of the day. Like it's that important for you to like switch your mind to like if you're gonna open your mouth, right, and express anything, it should be in your target language more than your already like native tongue.
Any tips on if you have nobody to talk to in Spanish?
Just talk to yourself, man. Just you're
Just
Yeah.
like in my
real
room,
crazy,
like,
but
necesito ayudar.
Yeah, so for example, like when
just go full mute.
Yeah, I'm just silent.
when I had to take that test, right? No joke. I probably like did an introduction with myself, maybe
Yeah.
like I don't know 2,000 times. Like I would just start with like what I did know, like oi, tudo bem, qual é o seu nome, Paul? You know what I mean? Like just
Right.
to myself, just like practicing, right? So, and I kind of like that, like 50% of the time that you're speaking, doing it in your target language. I kind of talked to that with a lot of people who were also learning languages,
Right.
and almost everyone agreed. Like
That's interesting.
that it's better to not speak than to speak in any language that's not your target language.
Because you're saying if you sit there and you practice and then you go and speak in English, for instance, you're kind of like undoing it.
Exactly. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Like you want your brain to feel comfortable speaking your target language.
That is so interesting. All right. Well, I won't be speaking for English for a long time.
All podcasts from now
Yeah.
on will
Like
be in
back,
Spanish.
we'll just,
I'm like-
just silent.
All right. Bienvenidos.
Yeah.
What do you think about like we're kind of getting off topic, but I'm really curious. What do you think about like watching TV shows and stuff in the target language?
Great.
Big help.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but you got to remember, like, so languages, it's an ability like anything else. You know what I mean? So, like, for example, you can have a really good ability at understanding a language, but I think what everyone wants is an ability at expressing themselves in the
Yeah.
target language. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, like, yeah, watching movies and all this shit is going to be amazing, right?
Yeah.
But the best thing you're going to do is finding someone, even if it's yourself, like a fucking weirdo. But, I mean, take it from someone who did it. It's
Yeah.
using the words that you're picking up. Let's say, for example, when you're watching a language or watching your TV or whatever, and then, like, actually using them, right?
Right.
So, like, for example, I had a little notebook, right?
Mhm.
And I used to watch the show. It was called Pánico na TV,
Mhm.
right? It was on YouTube,
Mhm.
right? And all it was just like, I mean, remember, I was whatever,
Yeah.
18, 19, 20, whatever I was.
Yeah, I'm not judging.
But it was just
Just letting you know
was
before he
Like-
says
like,
what the
are you
show
to
was
tell me?
about.
Was it anime?
that's right. It was just a bunch of fine girls, all right?
Okay.
And like bikinis, like doing a bunch of like different like contests or whatever. And it was a Brazilian Portuguese show.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it was hilarious too, you know what I mean? So that's all it was. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It's like challenges. The challenges somehow were like, yo, take all your clothes off. Like that's how it always
So-
evolved to
Sergio's
water-
like, what are you doing, Paul? He's like, I'm studying.
That's right. So I would watch, for example, right? And then a new word will come up. I would pause it. I would write it down, right?
Okay.
I would go back. I would hear it again, and like in the context that it was being used, and then I would try to use it right there and then.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
10 different ways to say clothes and then take them off.
Take off. Take off. Fly out. Fly out.
Do you want to come to the United States?
That's actually really funny. I've actually think that like reading has helped me a lot because when I'm reading, like I get like little, basic chapter books that are like 50 pages. And I learn new words that way. And I like stop and look them up. And I feel like that's helped my brain like catch on as well.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think like reading, listening to music, watching TV, it's all gonna help you in like your
Yes.
ability tree of
Yeah.
like understanding the language. But then like in order for you to be able to like express yourself, you have to just start
Yeah.
speaking it. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
feel like I'm at the point where I know a lot of words, but it's really hard for me to pick it up just by listening because it's very different to see you write it down than if I hear a native speaker speaking it, the words like blend together just like it does in English.
Right.
So that's where, like, when we were in the Uber, I was like speaking. He literally didn't speak any English, which was great because I was forced. We just wanted to get food. I was like, oh my God, it's my moment. And I was able to speak to him. But then when he was speaking back, I was like, you're going to have to slow down. I was like,
What did you say?
I said, necesito. Oh, I said, yo tengo hambre. Necesito cenar.
Okay. That was good.
Pronto.
Oh,
And
shit.
I was, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I said, ¿podemos comer? Can we eat?
Shit.
And he was like, sí. And I was like, ¿tienes cenar? Cenar? Is it cenar? Dinner.
No,
But
but he
does he
probably
have-
understood what
does
you
Did
were
he have
saying.
dinner?
Like in
Do
his
you
car?
No, like, did you have dinner yet?
Like, have you had dinner?
Oh,
Yes,
like have you
had dinner?
eaten?
How would you say that?
Ya
Oh,
comiste?
Ya comiste? Ya has comido?
Oh, that's not
Ya
what I said.
cenaste?
That's not what I said. That's why I was confused.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I
for
said,
sure.
like,
He was just like,
I said like tienes, like you have. Is that wrong?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's wrong.
That's why he was like, haha. We're all laughing.
Yeah,
We're like,
yeah,
oh, he
it's
thinks I'm
wrong.
so funny. But he got us to the food, and we got food.
Okay.
So I feel like I did my job.
Yeah? Yeah.
That's the most important thing at the beginning is just make sure that you can communicate yourself. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be polished. Doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah. Annie, what was the thing? Oh, sorry. Shut up. How?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, because I said you want food.
You
Like,
also-
you want to go get
you-
food.
You also asked him in an extremely common, what is it called? Like, how do you say
Great.
moismo?
Slang.
In a very common slang, if you wanted to fuck. I hope you know that.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what's worse about that is then after that, I asked him if he has a wife and kids.
Oh, shit, man.
This poor Uber driver was like, man, I knew
He was
Uber
like, I hit
was the job.
jackpot. He was from Venezuela. He was very nice.
Yo, I fuck.
But I thought, but he had like children in Venezuela, and I was confused.
No joke. He was like, "Yo, man, I love the United States, man. This shit
Yeah.
is crazy as fuck, man."
Andy, what was the thing you asked him? We were trying to ask him something, and you like said it very like verbatim. You put like two Spanish words together to say something. No, I said hambre, like hungry. She thought I was saying hombre. Yeah, I was like, yo tengo hambre, and she's like, why are you talking?
And you said this is an Uber driver?
Yeah.
Like you said, fuck the app. I'm just gonna like, I'm just gonna get in the car and like, I'm gonna tell you where I want to go. Don't worry about the app right now.
So we ordered an Uber. First of all, I'm gonna tell the story really quick. We ordered an Uber. We didn't know we were gonna get food yet. We were just gonna go to the hotel, but then on the way we got hungry. But the Uber app said he was deaf. So
What?
Yo, son.
All right,
What
you probably
the
should have
fuck?
opened with that variable right there.
okay,
Like,
so I'm like, okay, so now fast forward to the ending is that I guess he's not deaf. It's just he doesn't speak English, so we put in that like he can't speak. So I'm thinking he's deaf. So we get it, and he turns around and he's like, "Good," and I'm like, and she's laughing because she's like, "You really think you're doing ASL right now?" I'm killing it. I'm like,
like she's proud. Yeah.
I was like. I told Andy later, I'm like, I thought he was making noises because he couldn't hear that he was making noises. So I didn't realize he was like trying to talk. So then he like said, I heard him say like a word. So I was like, oh, like he's speaking. So then I was like, can we get food? And he was like he did like, I can't. And I was like, oh, he is deaf. And I was like, sorry. And he was like, I think he said like, no hablas inglés or something. And I was like, oh my God.
This is it. This is my moment right
like,
here. This is my moment.
This is my moment. And so then I used very broken Spanish. I tried my best, but we got to our restaurant and we got some food.
This is here in Atlanta.
What?
This is here in Atlanta.
Yeah, this was yesterday in
Where'd you go?
Atlanta. McDonald's.
McDonald's?
we tried
Oh my
McDonald's is
God,
crazy.
We
son.
tried to go
What
to
the
Chipotle. We tried to go to Chipotle.
At what
but
time?
At like midnight. But she
Oh,
had on
yeah.
the app that there was one open
No,
late.
they close at 11.
No, the one you had was open till midnight, right? He brought us to a mall that had
Oh,
Chipotle
gotcha.
inside of it, and it was closed. And we're so tired, and literally right across was a McDonald's. So I was like, can we just go to the McDonald's? So we did, and we got our food, and we were fine.
That's funny. So you were telling this guy that didn't speak English in 3 different ways. One, you were like, I want to have sex. with you.
Yeah.
The other one, you asked him out on a date. And then it's also midnight. You didn't really ask that.
I also asked him if he has.
If he has a
I
wife
was like,
and kids.
¿Tienes esposa? And he was
Can
like,
you know
"Sí."
when he
Or
called
no,
his
said
friend
no.
right after he finally dropped you
He's
off?
like,
Like,
these
man,
American girls are crazy.
You wouldn't believe it, yeah.
He was like, they're crazy.
I know he felt good about himself too. He's just like, yo, man, I always knew I fucking had it, man.
Yo, they
Look,
wanted to smash. Like, I couldn't,
Yeah.
you know, been about it.
For
if I
sure.
wanted to.
whatever he was wearing that day, he's gonna repeat
It's
it
his
at
favorite
least
outfit
like
now.
30 times, man. He's like, yo, man, you know what? I feel like getting lucky tonight, man. Where's that shirt I wore that one day,
All I
man?
gotta do is open with some ASL. He was really nice. I learned that he was Venezuelan. He doesn't have a wife. He has like 4 kids in Venezuela. He told us all their
You say he
ages.
does not have a wife?
No wife.
He definitely
no,
has
that's
a-
what he
yeah.
said.
When you got in the car, is I want to fuck.
Right, and he was like, matter of fact,
And you have dinner?
I'm single. No esposa, no novia, nada. I'm like, perfect. Can we get McDonald's?
Oh, you made it clear like that? Oh shit,
Yeah,
man.
he was
Did he-
a nice guy.
did-
though.
did-
Didn't you tip him like over 20%?
Yo, so
He was like,
He
damn,
has
it was a great
he has
night.
your number too, like, and he knows you're low maintenance because you go to McDonald's.
I was low maintenance that night, but we did want Chipotle. Yeah, no, he was. Shout out to my Uber driver if you hear this now that we know you can hear. Yeah. Anything else? That was. Oh wait, yeah, that was my last question for you. Anything else you want to talk about? Any shout outs? Anything confrontational you want to talk about?
Shout out BJJ Camp Rio.
There you go.
Check it out the week before Thanksgiving. Ask any. First of all, on the Instagram page, you'll see a bunch of stuff that we post. But anybody that you see on there, like 100 out of 100, great experiences. One of our students got her cell phone snatched up on like day 3.
no,
But
they won, son.
Got to her before I gave the safety talk. And then one of our really close friends, Reestopher. Don't get it twisted. He might try to tell you his name is different, but his name is definitely Reestopher. And we kept telling him, stop wearing your fucking gold chains.
Yeah.
2 gold chains.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of.
And we had another friend come down, and he had his gold chains, and he was like, well, fuck that, man. If Mike's going to have his gold chains,
I'm going.
me, Reestopher, I'm also going to have my gold chains. And then, like, on, like, 4 days after he started wearing them, yeah, just got snatched up aggressively. Bah!
When I took a marketing class in South Africa, and a guy was wearing basketball shorts with his cell phone in, and you know how the pockets are. Just came right up, just took it.
Oh, you didn't even notice it?
No, like it was like a friend from my class who got their phone stolen.
gotcha.
But it was like a tourist or like a person who lived in South Africa just like walked up on our group, and because basketball shorts, they're not tight pockets.
Yeah.
He just reached his hand in. Yeah, you can't when you're traveling. You got to be low key. Leave the Rolex at home.
I was just saying, like, because we went to Brazil. We were there for like 2.5 weeks, and then 4 days later we go to Mexico. So I was still on like South America mode.
Yeah.
So earlier I was driving and I was dropping him and our other friend off. And as I was dropping him off, a bike pulled up to us, and immediately I was like on South America.
Yeah, you were
like,
stressed.
What the? Yeah, it was nothing. Like I
Yeah.
forgot, and I'm like, oh, I'm back in the States. But
Yeah, you're like I could be a little bit more
you see
relaxed.
2 guys on a bike. That's like
Yeah,
the number
no,
one rule
that's
that
like-
I learned. You see 2 guys on a bike, like
Something
something
bad's
should be
about that.
going up. Yeah.
Yeah, your way
Turn the other way.
That's crazy.
Shout out LHM. Shout out Ernesto and Sergio. Shout out American Top Team.
Shout out feetfinder.com.
Shout out Paul's right foot.
Shout out. Why do you
Trust
think?
me, if you see that right foot, you'll know why I'm shouting that one out.
Yikes.
Yo, man, hey, we're really trying to get personal in this bitch.
Yeah, Paul's like, what the hell is this the roast of Paul Ardila?
Oh man, why do you think I propped this foot up? You know what I mean? I was like, let me go ahead and
That's
get
the
it.
moneymaker right there.
Onlyfans.com/pausefeet.
Well, thank you guys for doing this. You just came off a flight, so I really appreciate you. I'm sure you're exhausted. And we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Shout out Daishi.
Oh, he's gonna love that.
Come train soon.
He's
That's
gonna
it. He just
literally
made
love
it.
that.
Tell him that it's at the end of the podcast.
I
too.
will.
So
He
has to
won't. He
to
doesn't
the whole
listen to
thing.
myself. He's fake.
And just be like, hey, I don't remember when he shouted you out.
Oh, it's a good
But he
tactic.
did shout you out. Like
I'm gonna do
a
it.
few times.
Then he actually will listen.
He was
because
actually
won't
asking
listen.
about you on the podcast.
Oh my god! If I tell him that, like, he's
But
gonna
I just
lose
don't
his
remember
shit.
like where in the podcast he did it.
I'm gonna be like, it might have been other podcasts actually. He might have been a guest speaker. You have to listen to all of them.
He might have just popped into somebody else's podcast.
Yeah, I'm not
He was
really
like, yo,
sure. He'll be like,
How's
all,
Daishi doing?
all of a sudden, Daishi's my #1 fan.
Shout out my boy Reese, also known as Reestopher.
Not Topher.
Also known as Lost 2 Chains.
This man has a lot of names.
What else? I feel like that's it.
That's
on
all
the
good?
shout outs, man. Yeah.
Shout out Jukal. We did two huge, not huge, but we did 2 big like charity events this year, and we're still gonna do one more because somebody tried him sideways, and Jucal was not having it.
Interesting.
And one thing led to another, and we got a bunch of memes, and we made a shirt with a meme on it, a rash guard. And we sold a whole bunch of them.
Very cool. Oh,
we-
I saw this. Yeah.
Yeah, we donated like food to like a women's shelter here in Atlanta.
Yes, I saw that.
And then to like some kids in a favela in Rio. We did a little seminar and
Very
brought
cool.
a bunch of like meals.
Yeah. I
So it
was just
came
telling
from a
Amy
joke,
about that.
which was
And actually,
hilarious.
yeah, we have our last charity event for the year next weekend, I think.
Nice. Where's that? Local somewhere?
It's gonna be some local shit, yeah.
Nice.
Hopefully, it's like donating some like warm clothes because this shit is getting crazy
Yeah.
out here. Yeah,
See that? The Ardilas, they're good people.
that's right.
Paul donates flights. I mean,
I do not
Big givers.
donate flights. All right, there's a quid pro quo for those flights, man. I hope you know that.